Welcome back to Easily Explained, where today we will be learning how to solve equations. So let's get started. In the last video, we taught you how to write an equation and solve that equation for y when given x values by plugging in the x value and solving for the y. Today, however, we will be learning how to solve for an x value when given the y value. For the equation x plus 6 plus x equals 20, we will solve step by step. So this is our original equation. All right. The first thing we want to do is to move the values so that we'll be able to combine like terms. So we will use the commutative property of addition to change the order in which this equation is written. X plus 6 equals 20. And by the commutative property of addition, that is the same as our original equation. This just makes it easier for our next step. Now, we need to combine like terms. And since we moved it, it's easy to see that x and x can be added to 2x. So now our equation is 2x plus 6 equals 20 since we combined like terms. Remember that we can't simplify this any further since 2x and 6 are not like terms. Now that we've combined all like terms, we need to find a way to be able to isolate this x. We need to first get rid of the 6. Now, whatever you do on one side of the equation, you have to do on the other side, which means that if we want to get rid of the 6, we can subtract it. We always want to use the opposite operation. For example, if it was added, like it is in this equation, that's when you want to subtract. If it was subtracted in the original equation, then you want to add. Why is this so? Because if you were given a positive 6 plus, let's just write that in parentheses, and you subtracted 6, you would get 0, so you would get rid of it. But like I said, what you do on one side of the equation, you must do on the other. So we have to subtract the other side by 6 as well. So this was the subtraction property of equality. Alright, now we can simplify. We got rid of the 6, so now we just have 2x equals 20 minus 6. And 20 minus 6 is 14. So this is just simplifying. Alright, now we have to isolate the variable one step further so that there's just x and not 2x. So in the same way that we use the opposite property here when we were adding and subtracting, we're going to do the same thing with multiplication and division. When something is multiplied, as it is here, we need to divide it. And if something is being divided, we need to do the opposite operation and multiply. So here we have 2x, and 2x basically is saying 2 times x. So there's our multiplication, which means that we have to divide. It's being multiplied by 2, so we are going to divide both sides by 2. And that is the division property of equality. I will just abbreviate that. It's the division property of equality. Now, let's solve. X equals 14 divided by 2, which is 7. And that is our simplified answer. Let's plug it back into the original equation and see if it comes out to be true. X is equal to 7. So 7 plus 6 plus 7 equals 20. All right, we have 14 plus 6 equals 20. So 20 equals to 20. And that is true, which means that x is equal to 7. And we got the correct answer. Solve the two equations on the screen like we just did by writing out each step. Okay, now we can go over the answer. First, let's move the 5x next to this 20x by commutative property of addition, so that our equation now reads 20x plus 5x minus 3 equals 22. And now we can combine like terms. 25x minus 3 equals to 22. All right, let's get rid of this 3 plus 3 on either side by the addition property of equality. Simplify it. Now we can divide either side by 25 because of the division property of equality. And simplify, x should equal 1. Now for number 2. This one might look a little bit tricky, but there's not much to it. The first thing we need to do is get rid of the 7 by subtraction property of equality. So we have x divided by 4 equals 5. Now we can isolate the x. And like I said before, if something is being divided by 4, to get rid of this, we just need to multiply it by 4. Because multiplying is the opposite operation of dividing. So now we have x is equal to 5 times 4, which is 20. By simplifying, our answer is x equals 20. Alright, now let's do 2 more practice problems that are a little bit harder. Pause the video now and do your best to complete these 2 problems. Okay, let's go over this. So you must multiply the constant by both values in the expression. So 2 times 4x is 8x, and 2 times 3 is 6. Now this should look much more familiar. Minus 6 on either side because of the subtraction property of equality. And then you get 8x is equal to 64 divided by 8 on either side by the division property of equality. And you get x is equal to 8. Alright, now for the second one. Nothing changes with fractions. We still have to go about the problem in the same way. First, let's put both of the x's on the same side. So this is being added, so we'll subtract it here. Alright, now let's solve. We have 3/4 minus 2/3. Alright, let's get a common denominator by multiplying by 3 on either side and by 4 on either side for this one. So we have 9 over 12 minus 8 over 12. Alright, that's simple. We got a 1/12 x minus 1/6 equals 1/4. Alright, now we can get rid of the negative 1/6 here by adding it on either side. Alright, let's solve that. Is equal to 10 over 24, which also simplifies to 5 over 12. 1/12 x equals 5/12. Now, this is also the same as 1x over 12 is equal to 5/12, and therefore it's also similar to x divided by 12 equals 5/12. So the same way, since it's being divided, we're just going to multiply it. And then this cancels out, so x is just left equal to 5.
Congratulations! You are now an expert on solving equations. We hope this video really helped, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!